Graphic design layouts, when taken to the next level, go beyond just laying out design elements on a grid, and a more higher level thinking goes into it. For example, take color blocking as a technique. Color blocking involves using a distinct and contrasting color area to organize content and create visual interest. But it's probably not as simple as you think, because color blocking goes beyond just the aesthetic appeal or situation. When done properly, it becomes a powerful tool for organizing information and enhancing the clarity of complex design layouts. Now you can see this maybe on a mobile app with multiple different features, and this is where a feature or a section can have a unique color block. For instance, the messaging section could be distinguished by a blue color, while the settings section could have a green color. This way, users can easily identify and navigate between different parts of the app. And this might seem obvious to some people, but it's actually a well thought out technique that designers can use to take their designs to that next level. Take this design here, for example. Now we can apply this technique on this website design here. Now notice the text along the footer of the pink section. Things look pretty decent. But we can make use of color blocking to make things neater and more effective. Now that already looks a bit better, it's more organized and it does look more effective, but we can maybe take things a step further. Notice here on the left we have social media links, and to subconsciously express they are social media links, we can use color, and we can apply a blue color block behind like so. Now color blocking here isn't 100% necessary, but it does take things to that next level in terms of aesthetics and effectiveness. The next technique is something quite radical, and it's something that smart designers make great use of. Variable image cropping is a technique that involves manipulating the boundaries of an image, allowing them to extend beyond the conventional edge. Now this approach can add a dynamic and a more immersive quality to your designs, something that goes a really long way to making your work higher level. I also sometimes like to take design assets and allow them to go over the bleed edge. And here's how all of these techniques work in real life on real designs. In a magazine layout, a portrait of a person might break out of its rectangular frame, extending into the surrounding white space. This breakout is dynamic. It's something that breaks out of the norm or the expected situation, and it draws attention to the person's expression or their gesture. This could be considered as a focal point on your design, and then you can use the direction of the gaze of the model to send the audience's eye to the next point of call on your design. But when it comes to specifically having design assets bleed over the edge, this is how I like to do things. This document design looks more or less decent, but we can make things a bit more interesting, unique, and dynamic. We can make a very slight change, and that's simply by moving the design asset here over the bleed edge, and you can see the entire design changes with minimal effort. You can of course spend a fair bit of time with the placement and layout of this, but it's an easy way to take your design to that next level. Also, we can repeat the technique below as well, but importantly not to mirror the effect, and that's so the design stays more dynamic. This also works well with typography too, and it can be a lot of fun to play around with. With this new app, making interesting and cool avatars of yourself and other people is just really easy and also fun. I mean, check me out right here on these images. I know, right? MeCord is available on both Android and iOS, and it's really quick and easy to use. Also free. You can take selfies straight from the camera and then apply high quality themes really easily. The themes that are on offer are vast, but I personally like to use the cyberpunk theme, the avatar theme, the magician theme, but also the starship theme. But there are loads to choose from. One thing you might find with AI apps such as this is that most of the time you need to upload a bunch of images to train the AI for good results. Yet with MeCord, you can get decent results with just one selfie and in really quick time too. The AI camera tab can literally transplant a face onto end results, and it's actually a lot of fun to play around with. But with this one, you can use images already on your phone, which is quite handy, and the end results do look super polished and high quality. And then we have the Hot tab, and this is where you'll find a lot of funny and random templates to play with. And again, let's just say that can end up in some really interesting and fun results. Now you can try MeCord, linked down in the description box below, and again it is free and it's available on both Android and iOS. Negative space is a term that gets thrown around quite a lot, but when taken seriously by a designer, it becomes an essential tool. Embracing negative space involves intentionally leaving areas of a composition unoccupied. It's a great way to draw attention to a part of your design by framing it with negative space. And by using negative space as a frame, designers guide the viewer's gaze towards the subject or the message, creating a clear focal point in doing so. This helps establish hierarchy and emphasizes the importance of the framed element. Negative space frames contribute to a sense of visual balance and harmony within the design itself. But get this, not only does it achieve that, but the intentional placement of empty space complements the overall composition, enhancing the viewer's user experience. Now here's a poster, and as you can clearly see, there's a whole lot of white space on this design. Now if you want to make use of negative space to frame a focal point, we can bring it onto the design and make sure design assets do not infringe on the space around it. Now you can imagine how this design would look if we started to crowd the space around the central focal point with other objects and design assets. The design would then be nowhere near as effective. So yeah, framing a focal point with negative space is really useful, and it does help a lot on a design. Now as a designer, have you ever heard of diptych and triptych arrangements? Well, this is an awesome layout technique that allows designers to create a visual narrative within a layout, and very easily indeed. Now I recently made an entire course on visual narratives and storytelling, and you can find that linked in the card above. But one great example of using diptych and triptych layouts is on a movie poster. Now a movie poster might use a triptych arrangement to showcase 3 key elements or characters or scenes from the movie. Each panel would relate to the overall narrative, providing the viewers with a glimpse into the storyline and character dynamics of the movie itself. It's a quick and a visual way to tell a story within a couple of seconds, and it's mainly on a subconscious level. Another way to use this technique would be on a product design or brand design element. The left panel might showcase the initial concept, the middle panel then reveals the design process, and the right panel might present the final product itself. This storytelling approach engages the audience with the product's journey, and it's really easy to do. Now one great tip with this technique is to ensure that a visual consistency is applied across the panels, and that's to maintain a cohesive narrative. So use consistent color schemes, typography, and styling, which all contribute to a unified storytelling experience. Now these are some of the lesser known techniques to use in layout graphic design. However, do you know the golden rules of layout design? If you want to learn all about that, just click the video on screen. But until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.